Is this you? It's 11:30 p.m. You have work tomorrow bright and early. Every bone in your body tells you to go to sleep. But you can't help but lay there, scrolling TikTok. As you pass each video on your For You page, you ignore the sponsored posts, the TikTok shop ads, and the weirdest live streams you've ever seen in your life.
Ice cream, so good. Gang.
The clock creeps towards midnight, and you're stuck there. Just as you think you're ready to close the app and go to sleep, you encounter a video that elicits a mighty... The next morning you awake, tired and sleep deprived. The cycle will continue tomorrow. Or is this you? You've opened up Instagram to post a story, or maybe respond to a DM. You don't post anymore, because your dreams of being a successful model/influencer have been suffocated by your posts scarcely reaching more than a dozen likes. You pull up the app and accidentally catch sight of someone living a far better life than you. Someone far more attractive, doing things far more interesting. Meanwhile, you're sat in your sweatpants, moving to DM your friend a video of Joe Biden playing Minecraft.
I don't give a shit, I'm griefing it. That orange fucker just doesn't know when to quit.
Or is this you? You've just opened up Twitter and are immediately met by discourse so bad, you want to fucking kill your...
Yeah, I know. We're like a minute in. I can't say stuff like that. Yeah, I know.
There has to be a better way. It wasn't always like this. When the internet began in the 1970s, it was just a few dudes hanging around in research institutions. Just a guy in Harvard like, hey man, you want to do Warzone? To a dude in Berkeley like, nah man, that doesn't exist yet. In these days, anonymity wasn't really a concern on the internet. Everybody used their real names because everybody knew each other. When there's only 12 people on the internet, everybody knows that Bootyman69 is their research director, Robert Taylor. For about 20 years, the internet was a distinguished place of education, research, and communication between trusted parties. That all changed in 1993, when a researcher at CERN chose to enter the World Wide Web into the public domain. His name is Tim Berners-Lee, and this beautiful man is the reason you're able to watch this video on one tab and research your favorite fetish farming simulator game about raising monster girls on the other. And Tim would have loved that. This guy hated how inefficient it was to share information between computers, even interconnected ones. He recognized that in an increasingly digital age, vast amounts of information were accumulating on computers, but none of it was actually accessible to each other. Just like your favorite waifu in Monster Girl Farming Simulator. So this guy invented HTML and the URL. Yeah, you know, that thing up there. Someone had to invent that. He could have patented it. He could have licensed it. But Tim Berners-Lee pulled a certified gamer move to enter it into the public domain. He would retroactively go on to say, the web setting out as something which was universal, something which anybody can use, I felt was very important. It's no good having something which will run on any platform if, in fact, there's a proprietary hold on it. Tim believes the widespread adoption of the internet could be attributed to this single decision to make the World Wide Web public domain. This was a landmark era for the internet, with 24 million weekly users by 1995, and thousands upon thousands of web pages popping up from individual contributors. Gone were the days where everybody on the internet knew each other. In this era, anyone could be Bootyman69. Usernames and pseudonyms began to take off, and the practice of keeping your identity online a secret was commonplace. Websites, forums, and chat rooms connected users from all over the world, and information spread at an unprecedented rate. It was truly the Wild West of the decentralized net. It was untamed and it was beautiful. In the same space where teens could have their sexual awakening through StarCraft custom maps, your grandmother could find the latest recipes for thermite. What could possibly ruin such a place of wonder? And sure, it took half a minute of dial-up static to get you online, but once you get to the AOL homepage, the latest news headlines were there to show you that, huh? A second plane just what? It's the year 2004. We haven't quite reached an economic recession yet. We're not allowed to bring liquid on planes, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind just dropped. And wouldn't make me cry until like a whole ass decade later, dude. And between all of that, one funky little guy, you know him. Yeah, it's Marky. It's Mark Zuckerberg. the veritable king of the centralized internet. Remember our buddy Tim Berners-Lee? Mark is kind of like the opposite of him. Where Tim releases his intellectual property for the betterment of humanity, Mark makes a website that compares women to farm animals. And that's where Mark's story begins, a scorned and jealous, privileged college student at Harvard, building the prank website FaceMash to get back at the women who rejected him. This, however, would lead to him working on a student directory for Harvard, then known as the Facebook. Actually, I don't need to tell you the story of Facebook. We've all seen the social network. This isn't really related to the video, but instead, I want to use this time to tell you about something else. Did you know, before any of this, Mark built a program for his dad as a preteen? It was a chat application he built so that his dad could communicate with his associates in the dental business. It was basically like a sort of proto-AOL instant messenger. He called it Zucknet, which is basically the funniest name I could think of for a program. Okay, sorry, back to whatever I was talking about. Facebook changed the game of the internet. Sure, these days it's the domain of cringe posters, scammers, and your Aunt Susan who shares posts by taking a photo of her computer screen. But back in the 2000s, it was revolutionary. Just 2 years after going public, Facebook was polling over 100 million active users. And despite everything, it remains the most active social media platform to date with over 3 billion monthly active users. That's billion, with a B. Planet Earth has 8.1 billion people. Over a third of the world's population is on fucking Facebook. They're liking pages such as 5-Minute Crafts or Mr. Bean. No, really. Mr. Bean is like the 4th most liked page on Facebook. He has over 140 million followers. What the fuck?
Why am I doing a video about this? Mr. fucking Bean? It's like we're on another planet.
Look, okay, it's not the point. I'm not really here to judge the merit of Facebook as a platform. I want to talk about how crazy, how disgusting it is as a concept for a single privately controlled platform to hold over a third of the global population. This is what the centralization of the internet is. Back in the day of Tim Berners-Lee, the internet was owned and distributed by formgoers, by web ringmasters, by freaky little guys forging freaky little HTML Web.0 pages. The internet used to belong to us. Now it belongs to Zuck. It belongs to Ojitski. It belongs to fucking Musk. It might be difficult to identify what we really lost here, because it's subtle and it's nuanced. The issue isn't the idea of a social network. If Zuck hadn't poured all of his malice and his hatred into Facebook, a different nerdy little tech boy would have. The issue is in centralization. It's in shareholders, and it's in profit motivation. The underlying need to generate profit is killing the internet, and it has been for a while. It's the reason Facebook Reels are radicalizing your dad, and Twitter threads are ruining your night. Back in the 90s, we had something called GeoCities. It was a funky little platform that organized special interests into virtual neighborhoods. Each neighborhood would be based around a vitally important topic, like anime, for example. And within each topic, users were given a generous 2 megabytes with which they could create their own little space on the internet. Like, I don't know, an overly elaborate and lovingly detailed fan site about why Asuka is the best Evangelion girl. Hey, even back then, we were entitled to entirely miss the point of the things we liked. But the special thing about GeoCities and about its peers such as AngelFire, Netscape, and others was that there was zero money in it. Like, sure, if you were selling a product or service, maybe you could turn a buck, but otherwise, nothing. There was no money, and there was very little clout to be found from running a Cowboy Bebop AMV fan site. And that's the key difference. It wasn't about building a brand. It wasn't about hitting trending. It was about the pure love of sharing things you were passionate about. In an interview with Gizmondo, GeoCities founder David Bonnet put it well when he observed the following about the modern internet. David said, "I've been surprised at the sort of evolution away from self-generated content and more towards centralized programming and more towards the sort of self-promotion that we've seen on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And GeoCities was not about self-promotion. It was about sharing your interest and your knowledge. That's something that frankly surprised me. There's still creativity and vibrance in the modern internet, but it's been poisoned and buried under profit-seeking, clout-chasing creators that fill your feed with engagement bait, mass-produced content sludge, and just the worst gimmick accounts you've ever seen in your life. We used to do better. We used to be better. And to really understand that, we have to go back." It's now the year 2009. We are thoroughly in an economic recession. Obama is the president now, and Homestuck just began its third act. And at this point, over a decade after its launch, Yahoo has had enough of GeoCities. In an effort to lower overhead costs and push users to their paid website building service, Yahoo announces that they'll be closing the doors to GeoCities and wiping all the sites built within it. Nothing on the internet really lasts forever. Not unless someone works hard to make sure it does. With Yahoo uninterested in preserving the hundreds of thousands of web pages built into their platform, a group known as the Archive Team jumped into action to do it for them. Through a huge communal effort, they scraped, downloaded, organized, and archived as many pages as possible before that fateful day, before the keys to the GeoCity would be taken away forever. To this day, nobody is really sure if they got everything. On October 26, 2009, Yahoo wiped it all. Countless pages of human thoughts and feelings scattered to the ether in an instant. All that was left was a torrent. Just under a full terabyte in size, this torrent is still available through the Archive Team. Though, I couldn't get it to download on my machine. Yeah, apparently the file names don't play nice with torrent clients or something. I don't know. I'm not a fucking nerd. Fortunately, in 2019, another group known as Restoraveland took it upon themselves to host a mirror of GeoCities, complete with the original cities and neighborhoods that organized the original website. The Restoraveland archives gives anybody access to the countless pages Yahoo lost over a decade ago. And just a casual look through this archive, it shows us what we lost. Maybe it seems a little pointless to make such a big deal out of old shitty HTML web pages about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but there's an important lesson in the history of GeoCities, and that's that centralized platforms don't care about you. Yahoo didn't care about all the love and effort that went into these pages. All they saw was the status. All they saw was the millions of visitors. All they saw was its position as the third most visited website on the internet. Once GeoCities lost relevance in the broader internet landscape, it lost relevance in the eye of Yahoo shareholders. So they pulled the plug. And it will happen again. It will happen with Twitter. It will happen with Instagram. It will happen with TikTok. It will even happen with YouTube. Nothing on the internet is built to last. Not by the people who profit from it anyway. The backbone of the internet is sustained by people like you and me. By people who thanklessly manage the Internet Archive, or who run projects like what the Archive Team does. The preservation of human culture and knowledge is not going to come at the hands of a CEO, but by the hands of some furry in their bedroom in South Dakota. Or pause, I guess. So, where does any of this even leave us? The centralized social media platforms of today are trying to psychologically torment us with algorithms, and the wholesome, free frontiers of the past are being eroded away with every liquidated corporate web server. What can you do as a citizen of the internet to get the most out of your time here? Well, learn from the lessons of the past. What made those old GeoCities sites special was that they came from a place of passion. They came from a desire to share something special with people that were special. Back in those days, people weren't vying for likes, they weren't trying to hit trending, and they weren't trying to get a HelloFresh sponsorship. Chase what you feel passionate about, and nurture the connections that come from it. Because when Elon Musk finally tanks Twitter once and for all, you may not have your 1 million follower meme page anymore, but hopefully what you will still have is the friends you made along the way. Hey Willow, come here. Come here, Willow. Willow, you want to help me do the outro? Willow? Okay. Hey, so if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This is my first ever video, and it's been a ton of fun to put together. My channel is brand new, and I know it sounds corny, but really, every like, comment, and subscribe seriously makes a huge difference to this channel. Isn't that right, Willow? Willow agrees. Also, I want to give a big shout out to all of my besties over at Twitch. If you want me to read your name at the end of my next video, drop a subscription over on my Twitch channel. So without further ado, big thanks to Avatar Kiora, Makeshift Quill, Guy Frogs, Just Ivy, Vulpine Dragon, Jay Cosney, and Bodacious Blaze. I don't think I ever would have finished this video without the love and support of all of my amazing friends. Without them, I definitely would have left the internet completely by now. Anyway, thanks for watching. I have some grass to go touch.